Was that all weekend? Yeah. Has she called home or texted home every day so far?
She started her job.
Oh, good.
12 hours.
Yeah.
So she'll actually go.
That's good.
She's very quiet.
Not ready?
No, I wasn't ready. Amber's like sending me texts of different. We could rescue this one. We could save this one. So it's quiet though. It's harder this time. Early.
And the baby.
Yeah, the chief's here, we can start. I'm going to go ahead and call this Tuesday, May 4th, 2021 meeting of the Oldsmar City Council to order. The first two items on the agenda is our invocation and Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by our city attorney, Mr. Tom Trask. Please rise.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for the men and women who serve our community. Please provide our leaders with reminders each day of why they decided to dedicate their lives to public service and use that commitment to encourage them. Give them peace when their work takes them away from their families. We ask that you give them the wisdom on how to best support one another in their decisions and deliberations. And in this we pray. Thank you. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Well, as some of you, before we go on in the agenda, some of you I'm sure saw the news with the governor's executive order 21-102, which of course had an impact on Pinellas County, some of their mandates. So we're all kind of do we wear the mask? Do we not wear the mask? I don't know. So just so you're aware, what we're doing, it kind of has, of course it has an impact on us as a city right away. And so we are encouraging people, if they want to wear a mask, to wear a mask. If you feel more comfortable with it, that's up to you. We're not requiring it. That's an impact of the new executive order. So that's where we're at. All right. All right. Next item on the agenda is the citizens' open forum. And we only have a few rules. One, you could speak for 5 minutes on anything other than what's listed as public hearing items, which is 5, 6, 7, and 8 on our agenda. And that you give your name and address clearly. And let's see, is there anybody who would like to come up?
I just want to keep
Come on
things
up.
moving. I just want to, I don't want anybody.
You're
waiting.
on it. You're on fire.
Price is Right. Come on down. Hey, hello. I'm Pamela Settle, 439 Lakeview Drive. So last month, I came to address the council about the very exciting proposition of building a theater here in Oldsmar as part of some new development along St. Pete Drive. The day after that meeting, I sent you all a letter describing some additional details about need and size that's based on my experience. Well, today I'm just here. I want to follow up with a little more information that has some expert feedback. So I took it upon myself to contact local experts, people in the theater, and ask them about what they think about a theater coming to Oldsmar. So first, of all the people that I spoke to, every single one of them was excited about having another theater that could be in the North Pinellas area. This Upper Tampa Bay area, North Pinellas area, is actually theater poor. So a new theater was a very welcome idea. Second, the producers that I spoke to said that they would very much consider utilizing a theater in Oldsmar, which I thought was a great sign that others would follow suit as well. But third, when we talked about the size of the theater and the design of the theater, I'm not someone who knew a lot about black box theaters. I mean, I was really excited about the idea of getting any theater into Oldsmar. However, just in talking to people who are in the business, they felt like a black box theater concept would be a waste of money for Oldsmar. That typically those theaters are built in a theater complex or a university where there's other types of theaters and sizes. And it's an add-on because the performances that are in those theaters are a very specialized kind of a show, and that they didn't see any use for it from their perspective, that there would be another one of those available in the area. You know, they typically seat 100 to 125 people. It's flat floor, no stage. So they were much more in favor of a theater that would have more of a traditional design with stage and curtain and green rooms and seats, and obviously movable seats are an option to make it a more flexible space. One producer in particular that I spoke to said he'd actually worked with a different city on a plan, and the city took none of the advice of people in the theater industry, and now that stage is not being used at all because it can't accommodate actual shows and concerts. And fourth, regarding the size, the seating of 300 seems to be the magic number for plays, for concerts, for dance recitals, for a city of our size. Near us, Tarpon has a theater that seats about that many people, and they are full almost all year round with shows. Anything less than that, selling tickets becomes an issue for the people who are producing the shows. So, you know, I see a vibrant venue as a possibility for Oldsmar's future. I think it can benefit us from generations to come. And when I close my eyes, I can picture that design of the Odeon. I see it standing proudly next to the library. I see family-friendly events on Saturdays. I see people coming to Oldsmar for a show or a festival, educational events, cultural events, entertainment. I think we could use that theater concept as a catalyst to spark additional development in the area, that we set the direction for arts and culture and entertainment. That's something that all people of all ages and interests can enjoy. Two of these people that I spoke to said that they've been involved in building theaters and would be willing to consult at no charge because they just want to be helpful. And in closing, I just want to add that I'm so grateful to John Buse for that drawing, because I think he captured a realistic vision for that area of the city, and he captured my imagination. And I think it's captured the imagination of other theater lovers. And I just believe it would be a fantastic addition to our fair city. And I hope as things are moving forward, that a consideration for a traditional theater would be up for discussion for the city. So thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Anyone else on this side?
Hello, my name is Jackson. I live at 439 Lakeview Drive here in this wonderful city of Oldsmar.
Jackson, what's your last name?
Settle.
Thank you.
S-E-T-T-L-E. All right. Voila. So this Thursday in Ariel's Park at 6:30 p.m., we're going to have the Oldsmar Day of Prayer. Voila. And it's going to be awesome. We invite everyone who's watching on YouTube and here today to come down, worship. It's going to be a blast. I'm excited. I'm going to go volunteer, so I'll be there, and if I see ya, I'll be sure to say hi to all of you down here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Good job. Anyone else on this side of the room? This side of the room. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close the Citizens Open Forum. Next item on the agenda is the Community Minute, which is presented by our City Clerk, Ann Nixon.
Yes. We have Movie in the Park, Friday, May 7th, 7 o'clock p.m. at Ariel's Park. Embrace the circle of life and enjoy a free showing of Disney's original Lion King. Remember social distancing, golf carts welcome, weather permitting. Learn more at myoldsmar.com. And if you're fishing for something to do, Bob Seymour Jr. Memorial Kids Fishing Tournament is Saturday, May 15th from 8 to 11 in the morning at Ariel's Park. Enjoy a morning of fishing, prizes, and raffles at the pier, free for young anglers ages 5 to 16. Learn more at myoldsmar.com. If you're fishing to get paid for something to do, there's a job fair on Saturday, May 15th from 1 to 4 at Oldsmar Sports Complex. Looking for a new employment opportunity? Over 50 employers will be participating in this job fair, representing construction, restaurants, medical, hotels, manufacturing, government, retail, and more. Dress for success and be ready to impress. Free for attendees. Learn more at utbchamber.com. And that's all I have.
No more fishing?
No more fishing. I've tackled this. It's done.
Good. All right. All right. Next item on the agenda, approval of additional new agenda items. We have one item, I believe, item number 12. The chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Since you're ready to vote, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. All right, let's see, awards and recognition. Next item up, presentation of Council Manager Award for May 2021, and Councilmember Knapp will be presenting that. And he's got an army with him, I think, today.
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody.
Evening.
So, I am presenting the May 2021 Council Manager Award this evening, and it is going to be presented to our current Ordinance Review Committee. They just wrapped up a lot of their work, and perfect timing. We're actually going to be voting on some of the first bits of it tonight. The charter for the City of Oldsmar prescribes that the Ordinance Review Committee meets at least every 5 years in order to review the ordinances, and so that things change over time. Technology, customs, all those sorts of things, that we should make sure that our ordinances are up to snuff and that nothing's outdated. So back in August of 2019, the City Council adopted a resolution and named 7 members to the Ordinance Review Committee. Those original 7 members were David Enos, Steve Graber, myself, Paula Saraki, Pamela Settle, Ken Sidorowicz, and Donna Walston. But tonight's not about me. It's about everybody else. After Donna and myself had resigned at different times during our service on the committee, 2 additional members were nominated to take our places. Those people were Jared Buckman and Jessica Open. The committee met 11 times over the course of just over a year, dealt with a pandemic, amongst other things, and read through 20 chapters of our Code of Ordinances. And that was no easy task, as many of them can attest to. And as I said, tonight we're taking the time to vote on some of the first recommendations. And I'd like to also give an honorable mention to our city attorney, Tom Trask. He was here at every meeting. He guided us through every meeting. He answered all of our questions, as well as our city clerk, Ann Nixon. and city staff. I think all of us, during our course of reading through the chapters, not only were we here for those meetings, but we had to go out and meet with city staff independently because, again, sunshine law. So with that all being said, I would like to call up the members of the committee one at a time, but come up all together. First off, Pamela Settle, who finished up as chair. Secondly, Steve Graber, who finished as vice chair. Ken Sidorowicz. Jessica Opid. Mr. Jared Buckman.
Correct.
Is Dave here? I don't think I saw Dave. No?
No, it's not here.
Okay. And finally, Paula Saraki. As I said, I worked with them a little bit, but they did the bulk of the heavy lifting and all the work. So with that, Pam, would you like to share a few words about the experience?
So I didn't know what I was getting myself into, and so I want to thank former council member Linda Norris for having the faith and belief in me to step up and do something like this. Until you sit down and read every ordinance that's in the city book, you don't have an appreciation for the level of detail that's required to run our city at all levels. And so I have just such a great appreciation for the city staff who has to live with all those ordinances and the city attorney who has to understand them all and explain them to us. But it was just a great experience to come be a part of the citizen leadership of our city, and that is a great opportunity that's afforded to any citizen in Oldsmar to volunteer to be a part of these committees. That's how we get involved in our city, how we know what's going on, and how we connect with each other and with our city. Just, knowledge is a lot. So I know way more about certain ordinances than I'll ever need, but I appreciated the opportunity to do that, and I appreciated working with all these fine folks who read through some of them that were very lengthy and very dry. Yes. And some of us were more gifted in those areas than others. And so it really was a labor of teamwork and commitment to doing the right thing by the city. So again, for everyone who appointed people to come and be a part of that, thank you. And thank you to all the city staff who run our city really almost flawlessly every day. So I have such a great appreciation for that now. So, and to our former chair who got elected, awesome for you.
Thank you so much, Pam. Let's give them all a round of applause again.
Okay, before anybody goes, now some of you know this, but some of you may not, but every year we have a volunteer appreciation dinner. And at that dinner, we're able to give out gifts and just thank people for volunteering. And of course, with COVID, we haven't been able to do that. However, we are making the rounds and giving out volunteer thank yous. So let me go ahead and pass them out to you now. Give a round of applause.
Is anything gonna pop out of it?
No.
Great job, everyone.
Good job. That is some hard work too. It's not always the most interesting stuff to go over. All right, next item on the agenda is our Community Redevelopment Agency. We have no items under that tonight, so we'll move on to the consent docket, which is item number 2, which will be announced by our city clerk.
Item number 2, approve minutes of the April 20, 2021 council meeting.
Thank you. The chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion. I have a second.
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion? Second, you're ready to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. I've been asked by a couple of you. I got my hand caught in the door. I've got to make a better story up for it, but so if I don't shake your hand, that's why. Just so you know. Stitched up. I got like 10 stitches and it's no fun. All right. City of Oldsmar, item number 3, presentation of Drinking Water Week proclamation proclaiming May 2nd through the 8th, 2021 as National Drinking Water Week in the city of Oldsmar, Florida. And I believe Councilmember Graber will be presenting that tonight.
I believe. Thank you.
All right.
Been waiting a long time to do this. Things you learn watching council meetings.
Yeah.
Drinking Water Week. Office of the Mayor, Oldsmar, Florida proclamation. Whereas water is our most valuable natural resource, and whereas only tap water delivers public health protection, fire protection, support for our economy, and the quality of life we enjoy. And whereas any measure of a successful society, low mortality rates, economic growth and diversity, productivity, and public safety are in some way related to access to safe water. And whereas we are all stewards of the water infrastructure upon which future generations depend, and whereas each citizen of our city is called upon to help protect our source waters from pollution, to practice water conservation, and to get involved in local water issues by getting to know their water. Now, therefore, I, Eric Seidel, Mayor of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, do hereby proclaim the week of May 2nd through the 8th, 2021, as Drinking Water Week in the City of Oldsmar, and call upon all citizens and businesses to help protect our precious resource. Dated this 4th day of May, 2021.
Very good. All right. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I thought you were going to present that to.
Was I presenting it?
Got some guys.
There was nobody here presenting it to you.
Got the DNC guys here.
Oh, forgive me. No, I didn't. I don't know who was supposed to give me a heads up.
Excited to take off their hats and come up. Yeah!
They got all dressed up for the meeting.
All dressed up, ready to go. Yeah. Joe's here. Ashley's here. Dan's here. Open that thing up. Let's get a photo.
Taking angled shots now.
I can see you.
Can you?
Good job, guys.
Could we, there?
Almost got away. Almost.
I can introduce them. Just
Good
but
job. Good job.
can I introduce them to you guys? Because
Yes.
Yes.
the community, the most likely scenario of you guys ever seen these guys is in a hole.
Yes. We're in your yard.
So
Yeah.
I got the names down pat, no problem. I won't be able to describe the specific of the job titles, but the big bald guy in the back is Ben Pugh. He's the division supervisor. We got Joe Kernigan, we got Stephen Andux, we got Adrian Miranda, we got Bill Blevin, we got Ashley Painter, who's our sustainability coordinator, Jonna Jan, who's our assistant public works director, and Nan Benefit, our public works director. But you never see these guys. Trust me, you need them. And they're all mad skills. Skills are amazing for just stuff that I don't want to do.
Their job titles is just everything, right?
Yeah, that's really true. Just
Fix
they do everything.
Everything, do
But
everything.
I wanted you guys to know them by name, just because.
And probably some of the best attendance records, I would say, in longevity.
Yeah, there's a
in the
few.
city.
Levin's been around 100 years, and
Yeah.
Benji's been around 100 years. They're tremendously skilled guys.
Round of applause.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we have a couple of more guests here tonight. It happens to be Teachers Week. And talk about what a crazy time to be a teacher right now. So I know we have some guests. I'm going to ask that they come up. I know we have some folks here from Oldsmar Christian. I know we have some folks here from Oldsmar Elementary. I'm not sure who else. No one else? You know, you could come up too. Dunedin could come up here. We'll let him up here. Come on. Come on up. Just line up right along here. Right along here.
Perfect.
And I'm going to have you all introduce yourselves.
Christina Bauman, the principal of Oldsmar Elementary.
They're second grade, Oldsmar Elementary.
Catherine Macario, guidance counselor.
See, I handled the discipline.
Lisa Kroll, I'm the athletic director at Oldsmar Christian.
Preston, I'm the principal of Oldsmar Christian School.
Chris Settle, assistant principal, Dunedin High School.
We snuck you in there anyhow. We're like, just come on up here. So let me go ahead and read the proclamation. It says, whereas teachers open children's minds to the magic of ideas, knowledge, and dreams, keeping America democracy alive by laying a foundation for good citizenship. And whereas teachers are vital in building the future, playing a critical role in shaping our children into the people they will become. Whereas teachers encounter students of widely differing backgrounds and must be constantly learning so they can adapt to meet the ever-changing needs of young people in our schools, ensuring that they have equal chances at life through education. Whereas teachers fill many roles as listeners, explorers, role models, motivators, and mentors to help students achieve, preparing them for future education, the workforce, and their civic duties. Whereas teachers put in countless hours and extra effort preparing lessons, creating a safe and loving school environment, collaborating with colleagues, and building partnerships with families and communities. Well, they've done a lot of that this year, haven't they?
Amen.
Amen. Whereas teachers continue to influence us long after our school days are only memories, teaching lessons that will leave an impact on students who will carry it throughout their life. Now, therefore, I, Eric Seidel, the mayor of the city of Oldsmar, Florida, do hereby proclaim the week of May 3rd through the 7th, 2021 as Teacher Appreciation Week in the city of Oldsmar, and urge all members of our community to personally express appreciation to our teachers for their dedication and their devotion to their work and to our children. Dated this 4th day of May, 2021. Thank you. On to you that you can take back. You get the one that's got the big blown up letters for the mayor. Oh, go ahead. Yeah. All right, come in for a photo.
Okay, can I get the PCS people? Principal Settle, can you go over there? No, I get outside. Okay. Thank you.
Awesome. Well done, there. Well done, all of our teachers. Just registered Jackson at Oldsmar Elementary last week.
Oof.
I saw the principal there. She didn't recognize me though in my yoga pants.
All right. And thank you for being here, for coming out. We appreciate it. We really do.
Thank you.
All right, next item on the agenda, City Attorney.
So I have 4 ordinances tonight as a direct result of the work that the Ordinance Review Committee did, and this will be the first 4 of many. I'm going to go ahead and read agenda item number 5, which is a public hearing for the first reading of Ordinance 2021-06, amending Chapter 70. This is a long title. Ordinance 2021-06, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending Chapter 70, Utilities, definition for manufactured home, and amend definitions for sewage and sewage treatment plant. Complete reference to Section 70-506 in Section 70-41. Include Pinellas County inspectors in power and authority clause. Specify connection is required if sewer main is located adjacent to right-of-way. Require a permanent utility easement for city infrastructure not located in a right-of-way. Remove requirements for chain link fence with barbed wire. Move approval authority from city engineer to city manager or designee. Remove county health department approval requirement for water and sewer facilities. Specify that the city manager is responsible for construction standards. Delete Section 70-73, certain projects required to reuse or dispose of wastewater effluent. Amend cost provisions for temporary water service. Revise prohibition for meddling with hydrants to allow for emergencies. Amend permit requirements for withdrawing water. Replace term for sprinkler with irrigation regarding wells and lawn sprinkler systems. Remove language regarding city council approval for master meters and move responsibility for installation of water meters from city employees to city manager or designee. Require access to premises to allow for cross-connection control. Specify public works director to be in charge of the public works department. Replace terms for recovered with reclaimed throughout the chapter and update definition for recovered water. Add manufactured home parks as a facility requiring backflow prevention. Delete requirement for cross-connection permits which are used for backflow prevention devices. Update name for State Department of Environmental Protection. Amend definitions of local limits and pretreatment standards and add the definition for North American Industrial Classification System. Add the abbreviation for NICS. Delete requirement that Public Works Director enforce WRF provisions. Update reference to code section for WRF prohibitions. Correct grammar in Section 70-229. Remove reference to PWD authority regarding wastewater discharge. Update NICS number reference. Update permit modification requirements in reference to code section. Define time frame and method for reporting potential problems. Update reference for reporting requirements relating to certification statements. Add lint traps to items for pretreatment. Recognize interruption of service for operational needs. Add manufactured homes to definition for developed residential property. Update storm sewer definitions to reflect water bodes and systems owned by others. Increase fine amount for violation of stormwater permit. Add provision for construction activities and stormwater discharge prohibitions. Removes surety bond reference for deposits. Clarify required notice for scheduling. Update code reference for water main connection fees. Add account holder notice requirements regarding user charge. Add introduction paragraph for Section 70-453, private lift station permit and inspection fees, reinspection fee. Update description of monthly billing services and providing for an effective date of this ordinance. That was the first reading of Ordinance 2021-06 by title only.
Thank you. City Manager, any presentation, remarks?
Just that there is an item to be discussed. If you'd like me to read it, it's on the cover memo.
Sure.
So as we went through the process, there was not a consensus on one particular section, that being 70-06, which was a recommendation to add the new section requiring annexation for connection to the sewer system. I won't read the rest of it. You've all seen it, but I think we're awaiting a council decision on that one before we proceed to amending the ordinance if necessary in second reading.
Okay. Do you have any staff presentation, any applicant?
No, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and open the public hearing. Do we have anybody from the public who wishes to speak on this? Seeing that there's not, I'm gonna go ahead and close it. The chair will entertain a motion to approve.
Pass?
Pass.
Pass first reading of ordinance 2021-06, amending chapter 70.
There you go.
As stated.
Yeah. Second. Got a motion and a second? Discussion?
Yes, Mayor.
Councilmember Graber.
Section 70-53, there was language in there that I thought needed to be removed. It says property owners requesting sewer service from the city of Oldsmar will be provided such service. I thought may should be stricken, so it just reads will be provided such service. The reason that one was there is I had a bigger question about subsection 2, and it's the sentence that goes from our page 24 to page 25. In the event that such redevelopment occurs without the knowledge of the city or without contact by the property owner with the city to ensure that sufficient sewer capacity exists to serve such redevelopment, the property owner shall voluntarily annex into the city. And I brought this up to Al and Felicia during my meeting with them because I didn't think you could say shall voluntarily. You can't make anybody do anything voluntarily. And so I thought the language might need to be changed. What was explained to me, and I'm happy to discuss it here, was the city can't obligate, if this circumstance exists, the city can't obligate the owner to annex into the city. They have to go through the process to voluntarily annex into the city. So I understood it that way. It's written a little differently, redundantly in my view, but that's what it means. So I don't know if we need any language change there, or since the understanding is there by the city and staff that we leave it just in case it comes up.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it, but if you wanted to make that in the way of an amendment, you certainly could. If not, then I would say we're probably in
We're good.
shape.
And then the only other thing was in subsection 3 where it said with the undeveloped lands not abutting the city limits shall be developed in accordance with city requirements. With the exception that should a record plat be involved, the plat shall require approval by the city council. After that, there's a parenthesis, an end paren, where it says, but not the mayor's chair of the local plan, not the mayor's chair of the local planning agency, city clerk, or city manager signatures. I don't think that language is necessary. It's to say the plat shall require approval by the city council, period. And it was just wasn't a correction that we had seen during my discussion with Al and Felicia that that was one of the suggestions that we went over as well. So I think that's a worthwhile change.
Okay, do you want to make that in the way of an amendment?
Yes. So we'll amend. Do we require a new motion or just a motion to amend?
No, you'd make a motion to amend, and then we would vote on that amendment, and we'd go back to the main motion as amended.
Motion to amend subsection 3 to take out the unnecessary language. I make a motion to amend. Am I doing it correctly?
Okay.
And change that introductory part that says may will be.
And change the introductory paragraph.
Might as well clean it all up at once.
Okay. Yes.
A motion to amend, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on the amendment? All right, sensing you're ready to vote, roll call.
Councilmember Graber?
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Knapp?
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon?
Yes.
Mayor Seidel?
Yes.
First reading of ordinance 2021-06, amending chapter 70, passes with 5 votes for and 0 against, as amended.
Okay, so that was the actual amendment. So now we're going to go back to the main motion as amended, okay? Because we have to vote on that as well. So is there any further discussion? Okay, sensing you're ready to vote, we have a motion, we have a second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Graber?
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Knapp?
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon?
Yes.
Mayor Seidel?
Yes.
First reading of ordinance 2021-06, amending chapter 70, passes with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Thank you. Item number 6.
Item number 6 is a public hearing of the first reading of ordinance 2021-07. I'll read that by title only. Ordinance 2021-07, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending Chapter 1, general provisions to add life estate language to owner definition and providing for an effective date of this ordinance. That was a reading of ordinance 2021-07 by title only.
Okay, thank you. And we did have consensus on this. Does the city manager have any remarks?
No, sir.
Do we have any staff presentation?
No, sir.
And we have nobody here who is an applicant, so I'm going to go ahead and open up the public hearing. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak on this item? Seeing none, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. At this time, the chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Discussion?
Consensus.
You ready to vote? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Graber,
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Seidel.
Yes.
First reading of ordinance 2021-07, amending Chapter 1, passes with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Excellent. Item number 7.
Item number 7 is a public hearing for the first reading of ordinance 2021-08, amending Chapter 10. I'll read that by title only. Ordinance 2021-08, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending Chapter 10, Amusements and Entertainment, to correct a scrivener's error in the purpose provision for Chapter 10, replace city manager or designee for Community Development Department throughout the Chapter 10, add provisions addressing prevention of human trafficking and application process and general requirements for adult entertainment establishment, and providing for an effective date of this ordinance. That was a reading of ordinance 2021-08 by title only.
Thank you. City manager?
Just that there were specifically 2 items that we didn't reach consensus on the governmental.
Okay. Nothing from staff, I'm assuming?
Yes, sir.
All right. And there is no applicant present, so I'm going to go ahead and open the public forum. Does anybody from the public wish to speak on this item? Seeing no one, I'm going to go ahead and close the forum. The chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Councilmember, you made the motion?
Yep, after we're talking with Al and Felicia about this item, it's kind of like a state human trafficking must be ordinance for our city through the state. Am I correct when I say that, Al?
County.
Excuse me, county, thank you. So it's something we have to have.
Okay, any other comments?
Just clarification, we have to have it in our code of ordinances
For human trafficking, yes.
Okay.
I don't believe that's accurate.
I think it's the opposite.
I didn't
As
read
did I.
that.
It's required
I don't
for
think
us
it
to
is
have
either.
it in it. So the county,
Misunderstood you then, Al.
yeah, I think the county addresses the issue versus local cities.
Okay.
And I think that was, okay. Councilmember Gannon.
Thank you, Mayor. I was one who did not have consensus at our workshop on this particular item because the county does have an entire, it's not a department, but a subset of folks who are trained in this, who provide resources, signage, requirements, permitting. The county has this overarching sort of legislation on human trafficking already, and I felt that it was unnecessary for us to kind of piggyback on that with sort of less than what it deserves when the county is already on top of it in a better, bigger way. And so I thought that it was kind of redundant, not that city staff wouldn't be able to create a city-approved training class, and you know, we could do these things, but I thought it would be more prudent as far as resources go to rely on the county for what it is made to do within its health department. So I did not make a motion to approve this particular item.
Okay. Councilmember Knapp?
I agree with what's been said. That was my understanding from the city manager and assistant city manager that, you know, the county and the state kind of have things covered related to that. So kind of in the air of our previous agenda item, I would like to move that we strike sections 6 and 7 from the ordinance as presented.
So you're making a motion to amend?
Amend, yeah. To strike
wanna
sections
amend?
6 and 7 from the ordinance as presented.
Okay, all right. So then we have a motion to amend. Do we have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to amend. Any discussion? All right, we're going to go ahead and vote on the amendment only. Roll call?
Councilmember Graber,
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Seidel.
Yes.
Amendment to the motion passes with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Okay, we're going to return to the original motion as amended. Is there any, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Ready to vote? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Graber,
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon?
Yes.
Mayor Seidel?
Yes.
First reading of ordinance 2021-08, amending Chapter 10, passes as amended with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Thank you. Item number 8.
Item number 8 is the public hearing on the first reading of ordinance 2021-09, amending Chapter 14. I'll read that ordinance by title only. Ordinance 2021-09, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending Chapter 14, Civic and Cultural Affairs, to delete the definition of public art and design master plan and add the definitions of annual public art and design plan, artist or professional artist, and artwork of works of art. Amend the provision of intent for civic and cultural affairs, amend the provision for public art and design allocations for private construction projects and developments. Amend the provisions for the establishment of a public art fund, add a provision for the ownership and maintenance of all works of art, and providing for an effective date of this ordinance. That was a reading of ordinance 2021-09 by title only.
Thank you. City Manager, any comments?
No items.
From staff, no applicant. I'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Is there anybody from the public who wishes to speak on this matter? Seeing there is none, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. The chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Sensing you're ready to vote, roll call, please.
Councilmember Graber?
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Knapp?
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon? Mayor Seidel?
Yes.
First reading of ordinance 2021-09, amending Chapter 14, passes with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Okay. Item number 9.
Thank you. Item number 9 is adopt resolution 2021-09, adding 2 alternate members to the Leisure Services Advisory Board. I'll read that resolution by title only. Resolution 2021-09, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, reestablishing the Leisure Services Advisory Board, adding 2 alternate board members, repealing Resolution 2019-10, and providing for an effective date hereof. There was a reading of Resolution 2021-09 by title only.
Thank you. The chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Sensing you're ready to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. City Attorney, is that it?
That's it, sir. Thank you.
Excellent. All right, City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 10 is request council approval of an agreement for the use of recreation facilities with Oldsmar Youth Soccer Association Incorporated. City of Oldsmar partners with youth sports organizations to provide recreation-based sports activities at the Oldsmar Sports Complex. This item recommends the approval of an agreement authorizing the use of soccer and football fields numbers 1, 2, and 3, and baseball outfields numbers 3 and 4 as determined by registration numbers. This agreement reflects a field allocation that considers the number of players served by the organization based on the needs and goals of the organization. Oldsmar Youth Soccer Association, Inc. will share field space with Palm Harbor Youth Football Association, Inc. as allocated on Mondays through Fridays from 5:30 to 9 p.m. and Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. This allocation does not include Sundays or when the fields are closed for weekly maintenance. The league will be responsible to reimburse the city for a portion of the total electricity cost during the term of the agreement. It's a 1-year agreement, and staff recommends approval.
All right, the chair will entertain a motion to approve. I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Sensing you're ready to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Item 11.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 11 is another agreement. This time, the request council approval for the agreement for the use of the recreation facilities with Palm Harbor Youth Football Association, Inc. Essentially the same agreement. There's a different percentage of what we've requiring for responsibility for them to reimburse us for total electric costs. It's also a 1-year agreement, has the same terms. They're sharing the same fields, just with a different scheduling. So there's really nothing different about it, with the exception of the fact they're paying a different percentage because they won't use the fields as often. And staff also recommends approval.
All right, the chair will entertain a motion to approve. So moved. I have a motion. Do I have a second? A motion and a second. Discussion? Got to get the sports in there. Got to get the youth sports in there.
Go Panthers.
There you go. All right, sensing you're ready to vote, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Item 12.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 12 is request council approval to waive bid requirements and award the purchase of firefighting bunker gear to the Municipal Equipment LLC per the pricing terms and conditions of the Lake County Contract 17-0606H on piggyback form 18-006. Fire Rescue is requesting to purchase 13 sets of firefighting bunker gear to replace current frontline bunker gear. The current frontline bunker gear will replace backup bunker gear, and I'm tired of saying bunker gear, that has reached the expected life of 10 years, ensuring all personnel are provided equal protection and that we get the chance to maintain 2 sets of serviceable, you know what, for decontamination purposes. Municipal Equipment LLC has provided a quote for 13 sets of Lion Janesville V-Force bunker gear to include 1 coat, 1 pair of pants each for a total of, believe it or not, $32,255.08. The quote was provided under the same pricing terms and conditions of the Lake County contract, as I read before, 17-0606H on piggyback form 18-006, and this contract is valid until June 30th of 2022. The funding for the purchase of the gear is available in this year's capital improvement budget in Fund 102, and staff recommends approval.
Very good. The chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Chief, you really need this stuff, huh? It's important. We think it's important too. Any discussion?
I was just gonna mention that I had the opportunity to, I think, attend the last fire ops that was held before COVID. And I had literally no idea how important this stuff was. And although that is an eye-popping number, this gear literally saves their lives beyond just the fire. I was shocked to learn the number of firefighters who are diagnosed with cancers of the neck, cancer in different areas from inhaling. This gear literally ensures that they can wash one set that they took to a fire, wore during that fire, all day, after the fire is out, all night after the fire is out, digging everything out and cleaning everything up, and then wash it, decontaminate it, let that dry, so then they have other gear, a backup set to wear when they get called out again before the first set is ready again. And I'm sure a lot of people remember the legislative act last year signed by DeSantis that offered additional protection under the cancer bill for firefighters. And there's all kinds of pieces to this. This is not just like pants and a jacket. This is really important stuff. So important that sometimes, from what I was told at the fire ops, firefighters will make a decision whether or not to work for a certain municipality or organization based on the availability of a second set. It's that big of a deal. So I just wanted to make sure that the public understands that although it looks like a huge bill for clothes, it is not. It is absolutely not. This gear is just as important as the, breathing apparatus, the truck, and anything else that goes out there with them. So.
Yeah, and you know when it's really not expensive? Is when your house is on fire and they're coming in to save your life.
Yeah.
And it's just not that expensive anymore. And so I think that's kind of how we all feel.
I hope they get that program going again.
Yeah.
Nap, you would love it.
Yeah, that's
I'm
right.
waiting for
We
it.
got some new
That was
people.
gonna be my question. When's it
It's
happening?
really eye-opening.
It is good.
Really
It is good.
You do it?
I did. Ann and I did it together along with Gabby. I
Yeah.
think Gabby McGee.
Ann and I did it together.
I did it with Al.
Chip Potts was there.
I did it twice.
You did
Yeah.
it twice? Are you serious?
Lucky.
I'm like crawling on the floor in that room, and I hit my head on the pole.
Did you really?
I hate to say it, when I did that section, my person was never found. They were not found. They were not found. I'm not a very good fighter.
You're talking about using the infrared devices to find people
in
on the
pitch black
floor in a
room.
room when you can't see with your eyes
Yep,
because
there's-
it's dark and filled
They're
with
in
smoke.
smoke.
They're still there.
Still there.
All right, sensing you're ready to vote, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. City manager?
That's it, thank you, sir.
All right, city clerk?
I'm all set.
Excellent. City council. Council comments. I'm going to start with Councilmember Graber.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to thank Vice Mayor Knapp for presenting the ORC with that award. I know everybody that was on it since our work ended. It was great, and just the learning experience that it provided was fantastic and got us into contact with everybody throughout the city. So certainly beneficial. But don't forget, you did serve on there, and so tonight wasn't about you, as you had mentioned, but I wanted to make sure, yes, you did. You were the first chair of it, and you got us starting off very strong. I want to reiterate the job fair on May 15th. I know that Mayor Beavis and the Chamber are doing a lot of work trying to push that out. A lot of different businesses I'm talking to, especially in the service industry, they just can't get people to show up. and to the point where there's some folks saying, if you fill out an application, you show up for your interview, we'll pay you. You might not even get the job, but we'll give you some money. And so that's hopefully the job fair is a success, and as much information as we can get out about it, the better. And I wanted to recognize the reason Kelly and I, well, one of the several reasons, was a very good friend of mine from college, Melina Tickner. Her and her family moved to Oldsmar. We started coming here a lot. And so that was part of the reason why we decided to live here. And one of the main reasons why I'm so involved in this is because they decided to show up in Oldsmar. And so she's a teacher at Safety Harbor. She's an excellent teacher. If I don't shower her with more praise, I'm sure she'll tell me I left out fantastic and sensational and all the rest of it. But I wanted to make sure, since it's Teacher Appreciation Week, that specifically Melina, because I love her so much, and we've been friends for now 24 years, that she was recognized. So that is all I had, Mayor. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Councilmember Saraki.
Thank you. Just two things. Last Friday, I attended the Sunset Sounds. The band Red Ruckus played a wide variety of rock and roll. And best of all, they engaged the kids in the audience. The lead singer gave the kids these shaker eggs, and he invited all the children up onto the stage. Well, that was just great for the parents because they got time to relax, and the kids were just jumping around to the music. And I got to tell you, the band, the Red Ruckus, the lead singer, he's going to give Stormbringer a run for their money. He was really, really good. Wow. So that was really good. The other thing was the food truck. They had one food truck, and that food truck had a line almost the whole night. So it was really exciting for Chip Potts and the team, and also the what else was it? Oh, plenty of golf carts too. Plenty of golf carts and social distancing was great. On Saturday, May 15th, the Oldsmobile Club of Florida meeting will be held here at Arields Park. Our special guest, Mayor Jerry Beaverland, will give the members a history lesson. So we're excited about that. We will finally be opening up the historical museum. So Oldsmobile members, afterwards there'll be a special picnic at Arields Park. I'll be cooking since I'm involved with the Oldsmobile Club and involved with the Historical Society. So they've asked me to cook, so I'm going to cook for the Oldsmobile Club. And we're looking forward to Jerry Beaverland's historic story of the city of Oldsmar. And I hope it cools off. That's it. That's all I have.
What are you cooking?
Buffalo hot dogs, Salem hot dogs, and sirloin burgers.
Nice. Nice. Fancy over here. Huh? Councilmember Gannon.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to thank our citizens and our city staff for assisting me in attending and allowing me to attend EMO 2, the Institute for Elected Municipal Officials, Level 2 in Daytona Beach, the weekend of Oldsmar Days, which I'll get to in a minute. Really, really interesting. It was fantastic to see everybody out. We were in a huge ballroom. Everybody had their own 6-foot table, masks, the whole deal. It was very safe. I felt very comfortable. It was fantastic to see Lynn Tipton and the whole team from the Florida League of Cities, and actually a lot of local people there. Bel Air Bluffs was there. Pinellas Park was there. One of the presenters was Kim Adams from the city of Largo, talked about government finances, gave a shout out to Oldsmar's administrative services team. So Cindy, she's not here, but if she, I'm sure you'll tell her, Al, do tell her. And of course said hi to Al as well. Interesting stuff. It was kind of a deeper dive from EMO 1, on the basics of council and planning, land use, zoning. One of my favorite portions, which I kind of shared with some of the council members on last 2 weeks ago Sunday, was a presentation about media relations and crisis management, and how to kind of approach a crisis situation, whether it's something to do with the city or not. And it was presented by the public information officer, who is still the public information officer for the city of Parkland, Florida, who was there during the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shooting at the high school. So talk about perspective and how to manage a very difficult situation where there's nothing really good to say, nothing for anyone to say. And they actually provided us some theoretical scenarios, and we broke off into groups and talked about, and then you had to come up with your group with, they're on their way, the angry mob is on their way to City Hall. What are you going to say? And it was an interesting exercise. And then he gave us all the group's feedback on what we would say. You know, what stays at, you know, what happens at emo stays at emo, but I will say there were lots of questions about the RO plant. There were a lot of questions about that, which I was happy to answer with information instead of rumor. So that was a great opportunity to talk to a lot of people who are in public works, because as you know, it's open to folks in cities, but they share, you know, a lot of that information. So really cool experience. I wanted to thank everybody for, excusing me from some of the things that happened on Oldsmar days, although I was nearly in tears when I saw the picture of all 4 of you before the parade. It was like, you know, that morning I had been sitting in the room learning about government finance since, you know, 7:30 a.m. and I see this parade picture and I'm like, it was sad. But hey, serious kudos to the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber, all their volunteers, everybody who participated, the city for sponsoring Oldsmar days and nights. I hope you're going to share a little bit more about the success of it, Mayor. You know, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how successful it was going to be. I had this fear that it was either going to be overrun and awful and we would get in trouble, or it would be an empty field. And what a smooth and successful and fun event it was. I even saw I'm not naming names, I saw a post on social media from a representative from another municipality that was not holding events who said that Oldsmar and the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber are setting the example for how to hold events and how to do it right. Now, I know that, you know, Governor DeSantis recently rescinded certain executive orders, which also applies to large gatherings and everything. But, you know, we're going to have to slow roll this. People might not be comfortable just kind of forgetting everything. And they really did do it right. And I was really proud. I hope you'll share a little bit more about that. Tomorrow, Education Day for Leadership Pinellas. I'm almost done, I promise. The last thing, a large group, and by large, I mean about 25 women that I know who are moms in the area, are still substantially concerned about this practice of wheeling or very dangerous biking practices by young people in our community. Some of the things that they mentioned that people are still seeing, and I know we brought this up a couple of months back during Citizens Open Forum, some moms reported walking with their stroller and being circled with these young men ages 14 to 16 approximately, while popping wheelies, swearing, cursing at them. One person reported having their car egged by these young men, catcalling young girls, a 12-year-old daughter, a possible theft. And, you know, so, okay, what can Pinellas County Sheriff's Office do? You know, I don't know, but what I did promise to do was find out more information. So I spoke with the city manager, and I actually just kind of wanted to do, as a general citizen, a public information request, public records request, to find out where it's happening, what the procedure is for the sheriff's office, you know, because if they're under 18 and they're on a bike, okay, well, what can you cite them for? Not wearing a helmet, you know, what I've seen the sheriff's office with these kids pulled over, you know, I've seen the enforcement happening. I wanted to know what the enforcement is, you know, what are the steps that can be taken, and what should people do? Generally, I've been asking people to call the non-emergency line, which is 727-582-6200. A lot of people say, you know, I've complained and they're doing nothing. Well, I've complained. Well, I kind of want to find out how many people have actually complained, how many events there really are, and how serious it is, and if it's concentrated to a specific geographic area. A lot of people were saying, you know, oh, it's the kids over in Aventine, or it's the kids over in Forest Lakes. No, it always happens downtown. I'm like, okay, well, either it's all the same group and they're very mobile, or some of it's rumor. So I want to kind of find out a little bit more about that. Happy to report back. And I'll take a deep breath now. Thank you, Mayor.
Wow. No.
Good report.
Just one thing, I had a neighbor actually message me on Facebook last night about that.
Yeah.
And it's over in your area on Lafayette and State Street.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems to be where it's happening the most. There was some other discussion about that as well. That maybe there is a way to try to channel that, and whether that be where we're trying to, so I got approached by someone who is in multimedia and does all kinds of different clever promotions, who said that they actually stopped the kids and talked to them and got them off the side and shot like video with them. And it got me thinking, is there a path to say, well, if, you know, if we maybe create a team, or if someone's willing to sponsor that maybe there's a place that the road could be closed for an hour where they could ride. And then if there seems to be a discipline problem and somebody gets cited, they're not allowed to ride on the team that week. And so that maybe that there is a path like that. I mentioned it to Felicia the other day, but somebody just this past week brought it up to me. And so, but it is clearly, and some of the stunts that they're doing are, you know, they're pretty dangerous, right? And so I don't know if there's a path like that, but it's something that I'm looking into to see whether or not that's possible. Maybe it's not, but it would be an interesting approach. I mean, someone else, elsewhere, some other cities have had to deal with this. And, you know, hopefully, maybe that's a place to look to see who's had success elsewhere and what they've done. But that's one of the possible approaches, I think. So we'll see. Anyhow, thank you.
Yeah.
Vice Mayor.
And unfortunately, I'll just kind of close that up. Unfortunately, I think part of the allure is kind of the thrill of knowing you're doing it where it shouldn't be done, as I think I did in the last
Probably
meeting.
right.
I ran into one of them that was doing it up and down the pier. Well, you can't make that any safer, right?
Right,
I mean,
right.
that's just, that shouldn't be done there. So anyways, I was added to the Oldsmar Moms group. I'm not an Oldsmar mom, but.
You're welcome.
So, yeah, I mean, it's disappointing to see that kind of behavior. I mean, my nephew, I know he rides around. I don't think he's one of the ones, but yeah, it would be nice if we could find a way to channel that somehow.
And I don't know if that's possible, but it's
It may not be. It may not be. Anyways, couple of things from me. First off, on April 21st, I attended virtually my first noise abatement task force that is part of the St. Pete Clearwater Airport. Couple interesting things of note from that was the following day. This was from like a 7 or 8 year program where they were looking at adjusting flight paths for both northbound and southbound takeoff and landing. The one thing that was changing that shouldn't really have too dramatic of effect, although some people may notice it, was what they would call a north departure. So that's leaving from the airport heading in this direction. They shifted the route about, it used to kind of go, I would say, more so closer to Forest Lakes in terms of where it would cross over the city as the kind of the center line. And now that's been shifted to where it would almost kind of follow up along Shore Drive. So not too dramatic, but they're climbing really fast. So that's not really too much concern for us. And I know many of the citizens in Oldsmar, their biggest concern is the north arrival, coming from the north, heading down, possibly, descending too quickly. And, it's just kind of a matter of the airlines are trying to conserve fuel. So given that that wasn't considered as part of the change, that's really, at this point, the way the process sounds, almost a 7 or 8 year ordeal before that could even really become a reality of, all right, now it gets shifted perhaps to the Tarpon-Outfall Canal. So it was interesting to learn that, and it's definitely a slow process. You're dealing with a federal agency that it's not easy to go and change air traffic, especially given that you've got Tampa International as part of the area.
Yeah, there's a lot of controlled space right around.
Yes, yeah. Secondly, Oldsmar Days. I just wanted to thank everybody again for that we could all get together and right on time, just about, for the shift on Sunday. That was an immense amount of fun. I think that was a great team building activity for all of us. I think I sat for 5 minutes at most, and the rest of the time, boom, 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 boom. But the rest of the weekend was just great. I think it was great for the city. Being there Friday night, some of us were there to bring Stormbringer on stage. That was pretty exciting, and get to rub elbows with some of those guys. And then participating on Saturday, that was just a great family event, having Leona and my wife in the car. She was much more interested in the big bag of beads in the seat but she did actually get some waves out, and it was very heartwarming to participate in that. And then finally, in the vein of Teacher Appreciation Week as well, I don't know if she's watching or will watch this in replay, but my kindergarten teacher, Linda Rooney, still lives in Oldsmar. She has the entire time. She lives over in Harbor Palms. So I just want to say hi to her and hope that she is still doing well. I see her from time to time. I had her in kindergarten, and then I volunteered with her when she moved to the library after that. So if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't be doing many of the things I'm doing today. So I wanted to say thank you.
Very good.
That's all.
Very nice. All right, I've got a couple things. Chamber of Commerce, I mean, they really stepped up. I think everybody will agree that when they first said they were going to take this on, they came to the city, and there was up until today, quite frankly, we heard from Barry Burton, who's the county administrator we were on a call with, but to put on an event, it was a process, and they had to stay under 1,000 people out there. And I think for the most part, I'm looking at the deputy right now, I think for the most part, we stayed within that 1,000. It might have got a little shaky for an hour or two, but but that restriction's gone now anyhow. But they did an excellent job, and all the volunteers, it takes a couple hundred people to put on that event. And they're all volunteers. And so that's part of what makes, living in Oldsmar special, out there on the water, enjoying the music with friends. And I think people enjoyed the tables and chairs a lot more than the blankets that are normally out there. I kind of liked it better too, I can't lie. Mm-hmm. And it seemed to work out pretty well. I know that our citizens enjoyed it. The work that everyone put into the parade on Saturday was just so much fun. It was nice to get out and see the community out there. It was really something special. So they did a terrific job, and they don't always get enough credit for it because everyone always thinks it's the city who puts it on. And so we'll take a little credit because we are, sponsors and all that stuff, but they work hard. They put that event together and did a terrific job. The Jobs Fair, May 15th, from 1 to 4 at the Oldsmar Sports Complex. There's like over 400 jobs that they're trying to fill. And so if you live here, you're local, it's an opportunity to get a good local job. So by all means, head out there. Our library, I've been asked this by quite a few people, and I had a discussion with the city manager about it today. We've had these special hours that we've been operating over at the library, and it sounds like May 17th is kind of the target return day, getting back to our regular hours. So I thought I'd mention that.
That's good.
And so it's good. And of course, I did mention it it's kind of old news at this point, but we were on a conference call with Barry Burton today, and who was going over the ramifications of the governor's executive order. And so it did mitigate the need any moving forward for large events to go through that protocol process that we went through, as well as, of course, face masks. And our approach to it is going to be, you're welcome to wear a face mask. If makes you feel more comfortable, wear one, but you're not required. And so that's just kind of the way that we're going to move forward as a city on it. All right, that's all I got. The next item on the agenda is approved tentative agenda for May 18th. Does anybody wish to pull anything from the tentative agenda? Nope. Okay, so I'm going to entertain a motion to approve the tentative agenda as amended to add local option gas tax consideration. So has to add that by our city manager. So I will add that in the way of an amendment, and the chair will entertain a motion to approve as amended.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Since you're ready to vote, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I got one thing I want to
Sure.
mention before I forget, Mayor. I don't know if you guys noticed on Sunday, the city employee David that was collecting the garbage. Did you? So he did an excellent job. I wanted to bring that up, Al. I forgot it on my notes. He took care of all the cardboard, all the trash.
Yeah, he
That
was
city
working really hard.
employee did a fantastic job. I'm sorry, man. I just
That's
wanted to
okay.
mention that.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's worth
Make a
mentioning.
motion to adjourn.
We got a motion. Do we have a second? Motion, a second. Doesn't require a vote.